Shalom, friends. This is Jonathan Bernis calling in with my final devotional for the 8th and last day of Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication, the Feast of Lights. Shalom to all of you, our Facebook friends. Thank you for being our friend on Facebook and for listening to these devotionals. Hanukkah is a joyous celebration of God's deliverance under the hand of Antiochus Epiphanes IV, a mad dictator who ruled the Syrian Hellenistic army and controlled Israel during the intertestamental period between the years 167 and 163 BC. We're talking about roughly 200 years before the birth of the Messiah. And Hanukkah celebrates the defeat of the Syrian armies that vastly outnumbered the Jewish people through a small army known as the Maccabees under the leadership of Judah the Hammer. And we celebrate this feast for 8 days, remembering the miracle of the oil that was enough to burn for 8 days, but burned for one as the temple was rededicated and new oil was prepared. Hanukkah is also known as the Feast of Dedication or Rededication, and I talked yesterday in my last devotional, or the day before yesterday rather, about the theme of dedication and rededication, and that we're to daily be transformed by the renewing of our mind. The theme of rededicating our lives before the Lord on a daily basis is continually mentioned throughout Scripture. But Hanukkah is also the Feast of Lights, and we celebrate Hanukkah, we observe Hanukkah by lighting a candle each day. We have something called a Chanukah. It's a 9-branched menorah that's special for Hanukkah, and we light a new candle each night as the next day of Hanukkah begins. And there's a 9th candle that's called the Shamash candle, or the servant candle. Of course, this theme of servanthood is also mentioned throughout Scripture, and the 9th candle is the servant candle. But I want to focus briefly on the idea of light, of being a light. Yeshua came as a light to the world. There's a wonderful prophecy that's quoted from the Old Testament, but quoted by Matthew in chapter 4, verse 16, which comes from Isaiah, that the people living in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the shadow of death, this great light has shined. Of course, it's talking about the light coming to the Gentiles that were in darkness. And as a result of Yeshua being the light of the world and being in him, we are light. Yeshua tells us this in his great teaching on the Mount, the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, verse 14, rather, that you are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. And he goes on to say, a city on a hill cannot be hidden, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. My friends, the proclamation of the gospel is not just in word, it's in deed as well. And we're encouraged by example to let our light shine, to let people see the fruits of the Spirit operating through us, the love, the joy, the peace, the selflessness, the kindness, the goodness. All of those things are to shine through us as a representation of God's love, because you are the light of the world. So on this celebration of Hanukkah, the festival of lights, let's not forget that because Yeshua is the light of the world and has delegated that authority and responsibility to us, we are to be a light to those around us, both in word and in deed. This is Jonathan Bernis wishing you a very, very happy Hanukkah, a very Merry Christmas, and happy New Year. May 2012 be the best year ever. For all of our friends of Jewish Voice, I want to say thank you for your support in 2011 and 2012. We appreciate you so very much. Shalom, and God bless you.